Hello, I'm going to take this godforsaken clock out of the room. Yeah, look at the phones. Yeah, so today's subject is maladaptive daydreaming. I've got like a few different things I want to talk about in my head. Hopefully I can link them all together because I was daydreaming and thinking of the subject for my next video. So I was very excited. I was on my walk, I was practicing all these like visualizations in my head. I couldn't really settle on one specific visualization because I was just thinking of all the different things I could say, all the different topics I could do. And is it really helpful? Because visualizations, they're helpful when I sit down and I envision like what will my business look like. I've yet to start a business. I mean, I want to go into copywriting, but what will my business look like? Like who would it attract? Creating like a profile for everything. And I think of these things a lot. And then sometimes I just randomly create these stories in my mind, in my head, my imagination, which aren't exactly useful. And other times I just start flat out lying to myself and envisioning what it would be like to be this person or that person, things I can't change like personality. And I got addicted to MBTI tests a while back. I used to speak about it on this channel before I decided to delete all my other videos, how addicted I became to the whole thing. And I didn't necessarily get along with anyone on these websites and forums. I was always forever arguing with them about like the petty shit, like who I am, what my personality is like. I was disagreeing with them over myself when no one really knows who I am better than myself. And I came to a conclusion while I was speaking to some people on another website. I mean, I know it's all online, but I came to a conclusion that I don't want these subjective measurements defining my identity and who I am. And I kind of just dismissed the whole process after that. I mean, I still take tests, Enneagram tests, and whatever, but I now know that it doesn't have any like authority over my existence, over how I conduct myself. I shouldn't live in accordance to. Excuse me. Yes, please. I'm sorry about that. That's my dad. He's just cooking my meal. That meal is going to go cold now. Yeah. So I shouldn't really define myself based on these things, these tests. And I still daydream and think, well, what would it be like if I was this person, if I was that person, if I was the other person? And I start daydreaming about if I altered my personality in this way or that way, then I'd be able to do this or that or the other. The thing is, I could do everything, you know. I mean, I can't do everything at once, but I can take on more than I give myself credit for. I can achieve more outside of the context which I currently am in, like my current state of mind, because like I have loads of different moods, so you can't really track my personality because I have so many different moods. I have productive moods, I have lazy moods. Sometimes like I'm more optimistic and cheerful, and I'm pessimistic. Then you know, I'm this and that and the other, and the definitions just seem so unclear because they just blend into each other, and you have to like separate them and be specific with your wording and everything. And these people, they just seem disingenuous. They seem fucking autistic. They're selling courses on here, personality courses, and I just don't fucking approve of them. I think they're snakes. So my advice would be, and I'm not like a personality analyst. I fucking failed psychology in college, but I'd say just stay away from that shit. Avoid it like the plague. They're all just like making excuses for themselves here, on why they shouldn't do this or that or the other. How it's not authentic to them, when really, like, we don't know what it is. We don't know what is authentic to us, and I just avoid that. I mean, I know I'm a pretty open person. I have a high degree of openness, and I have because I try things. I usually try things like once, and then I give up on them. I'm very, very low in conscientiousness. It just doesn't come naturally to me to organise my environment, but I still don't want to make these excuses for myself. I have no excuse really to let my room get in the state that it currently is. I mean, my room is usually unclean. I leave bits of food wrappers around, and I leave cups around, and you know, I have a cat. Luckily, she's pretty sensible. I pick up pieces of plastic to stop from eating them. Hang on. It's pretty sus, but I'm going to have to install some sort of editing app now because I'm filming this on my iPad and weave it all together. I'm currently eating. You know, it's nothing special. It's just jacket potato, beans and cheese. Not that unhealthy, not healthy either. It's not gonna make me into Schwarzenegger. Fucking hot as well. I want this video to dissolve into a cringe mukbang. No. Yes, I do eat with my, I use my reverse hands. You see, I'm usually right-handed. I cook with my left hand. It's just some weird shit that went on since I was a child. You know, I didn't really develop properly, so this is the way I am. Get used to it. From what I've said so far, you've probably got like this image in your heads of what I'm actually like. You've created this generalization of who I am. Which is probably wrong, because it doesn't consider every single different context, state of mood, environment even that I'm in, because I can adapt to different environments. We're all like this, like around certain people who I don't know, I'm more introverted. Around people who I know, I'm more extroverted. On here, I'm sort of in between. So you can't really gouge the type of person I am from that. I mean, if you were to see everything that I've done, like all the how productive I've been, despite of, and in spite of, because daydreaming, like if I'm visualizing something, I can go off of mass and achieve that thing. But that's bad. My fucking potatoes is black. I go to the fucking hospital. Yeah. But it's just a misconception. No. They're all misconceptions. And opinions change quite often. My personal opinions change quite a lot. I may seem to contradict myself from time to time. But not like I think it's more subtle, really. It's not in the way of like the Leather King who said that he works out every day, hasn't taken a day off. Sunday is his rest day. He works 14 times a week. Works out 14 times a week. Yeah, I'm not really like that. But daydreaming, I do daydream quite a lot. Sometimes I imagine that I'm on stage and I'm covering a certain song. I still imagine playing in front of my college class or that sort of age, and like women just screaming, throwing off the fucking shirts, and I just imagine all of this inane bullshit, really. And is it productive? No, because I've done some introspection with the help of the Millionaire Fastlane, where I realised that, because I always thought, oh, well, I've written some songs, I've written some poetry, so I can kind of get famous on that. I mean, I had this idea a few years ago where I was going to make like this light show with my poetry, and it was just like I was going to enact all of the poems, and I was going to do like this live stream, poetry live streams where I just run around in fucking masks, like screaming, just like this acting sort of thing. And I used to like daydream about how many views I got, and it sounded good in my head. But in reality, I started crunching the figures and getting on to people, and I just realised, well, no, I can't, because no one's interested in that kind of thing. And it sucks. I have some very creative ideas, but I don't really have the talent to enact them. And no one really cares about these ideas because they care about, like, and this is just general business advice, what applies to their own lives, instead of what I think is interesting. So I've kind of altered my beliefs now to go more outward than inward. My beliefs no longer go inward. I need external stimuli. I need external stimulation to bounce ideas off of. It's just not practical for me to stay inside all the time and indulge in like daydreaming. And it's probably developed and started and gone worse in the COVID lockdown. I had all the time in the world and I just daydreamed. And sitting around just daydreaming, sometimes pacing up and down, pacing throughout the whole house, imagining that I was like playing a gig, imagining like my own songs and writing songs down, because I'd have all of these ideas. I'd have to write my songs down, uploaded them online. I got told that they're shitty, they're like bad movie scripts. And then I'm constantly having my grammar corrected, but it's like out of Lost. I get these ideas, like creating these worlds and characters, and it's just out of Lost, like lustful energy, going outward. Well, going inward, I gather it inward, and then it goes outward into all these different ideas, and none of them are really productive. I used to think there was some sort of middle path. And there probably is if I'm like visualizing something, if I'm visualizing something productive and congruent, if I'm visualizing myself completing my engineering course, or if I'm visualizing myself writing copy or learning about copy. But then if I'm visualizing myself making these videos, but if I'm sort of visualizing myself on stage and this and that and the other, there's no real practical way of that ever happening. And I have daydreamed about playing sports. I've had absurd daydreams. I mean, I'm 5'9". I've had daydreams about growing to like 5'11", because I'm 20. Growing to 5'11", and then just started to play basketball, and then I fucking wrote goals on the wall over it, and I realised, well, none of that's really practical. And when I realised it's not practical, I kind of just lose all motivation towards it. And in the olden days, and like the COVID lockdown towards life as well, I just think, fuck, I may as well go and watch porn. And I've watched porn over the last couple of days, like yesterday and this morning. I haven't fapped, but I did engage in some erotic roleplay with AI robots, which is absolutely sickening. And I don't know, I had this idea, this visualization of creating a video on my whole problem with AIs, and they're part of the metaverse owned by Facebook, and I was going to make like this video making like a conspiracy theory sort of vein, in the sort of vein of Jake Tran, and call it people are going missing, because people are going missing with this, like the withdrawing into the social media world, and they're not living in the real world. And you see quite a lot how your family members, and Hamza talked about this, they're just like glued to the screens now. And it's something I've struggled with myself. It's worse because my mental health isn't that great right now. I've, you know that from my last video, I was talking about video games, so I will daydream quite a lot. You know, it developed to help me with my anxiety. I just imagine an alternate path, you know, a path that's just not connected to this world. And with MBTI and whatnot, it became a massive part of my identity, something I was reluctant to change, until this guy got on to me and he said, well, environment does affect a lot of your personality. I mean, if I wasn't here, I'd probably daydream a lot less. If I was in the middle of a street fight, and I was outnumbered, you know, I'd daydream a lot less. I'd have to think quickly in the moment. If I was like, because my courses are online, but if they're in real life, I'd daydream a lot less, and I'd be a lot more sociable, which is really what I want. I mean, everything I'm doing right now is online, and it kind of sucks because I wished it wasn't online. And I've tried some local clubs, some local classes. I've dabbled with, and I'm like a one-hit wonder. I try it once and then I disappear. But I tried woodworking, and you know, I was trying to daydream. I was trying my hardest to like visualize what I could do, and I couldn't because of like the environment. The music was blazing, like the saws going off in the background. I just couldn't focus on my daydream, and I carved like smoothing the edges off of this tiny piece of wood, and I felt so embarrassed because I messed it up. I said to them that I failed. I was scared of failing. They said, oh, you need to fail 500 times to get it right. And you know, I didn't go back there, but I wanted to. It's been like a week and a half now, and I just can't gather the motivation to go back there. Because at the time, I mean, this is going down the slow lane now. And they have recommended some slow lane things to me, like they said, why don't you become a mechanic? And I used to think, well, yeah, that's a good job, but a good job makes you like less than what you could be making in the fast lane. In 1 month, you can make one month's worth of money from just like a slow lane job. If that makes sense, like over the course of 12 months, they'd be making 12 times more than what a mechanic makes. And now I'm kind of very demotivated and demoralised towards my course online. It's just a pity that I can't drop out. I've still got work to do, and I'm just procrastinating, taking on this and that and the other, and then daydreaming, which takes surprisingly a lot of time out of your day, because half an hour, hour and a half can go by and I'm just still daydreaming. I actually had therapy over maladaptive daydreaming because I realised that it was connected to my low self-esteem, to not having anything in the real world, which is connected to like mental health. I mean, if you have mental health, then you're going to be in abundance if you have positive mental health. And I was just living inside of my own stimulation, stemming, and I would walk up and down on flat mans. Actually, I'm embarrassed to say that I would hit myself. I don't fucking know. I mean, it's so embarrassing that I adapt this way, and it had happened like multiple times a day. And I used to be in a relationship, a very toxic relationship with someone online, and I just daydream about that, daydream about the relationship, I daydream about having sex with them, and just, I don't want to talk about it at the moment. But yeah. And I did take therapy to be more in the present moment. Still got stuff to eat. That's going cold fucking. I'm just going to go hungry. But I had therapy. Actually, I'm still hungry. I'll just eat it cold. Related to being not being in the present moment, and they said, well, what I'm doing right now is being in the present moment, because I didn't realise this, but like when these ideas go outward, you're in the present moment. And that's something I wanted to be, but I was afraid of being judged on. And these fucking shitty MBTI tests play to this, because if you're in the present moment, then you're not as unique. And if you're not like, if you don't feel unique, then you feel shitty within yourself, and it's just a form of social media comparison. And I just don't approve of that. So, at all. It's not a productive way to live in your life. You can't worry about what other people will think of you. That's something I do all the time. I mean, I'm told that I'm being a people pleaser without even realising it. And I've been told that I'm disgusting for putting on like a fake image, and I'm trying to be genuine now. But I perceive it as being objective. Like, when you're being genuine, you're just stating objectively how it is, like empirically, logically. You're just saying how it is, except from like separate from how you feel that things are. I mean, you could be very self-critical to be authentic, and I don't really care about the external definitions. because they're just unclear, unspecific. They don't say anything like stemming, that'd be autism. And I know I struggled with anxiety and depression, but there's like, hang on. No, I'm still eating. Different aspects that you could work on, and I've been reading about why these people who take these personality tests think that they're this type or another type, and they just say, oh, I'm a type 3, I'm an Enneagram 3 because I'm productive, because or I'm an FI user because I'm honest with other people. I value authenticity without explicitly stating what that means. And then there's like the ones who do explicitly state what it means and use all these dictionary definitions, like define themselves from like a dictionary. And I just find it sad because these people don't have that much contact with the outside world. They're just defining themselves from a fucking dictionary. I mean, how sad is that? Laugh at them. You know, laugh at them. And if they say, oh, no, you're this or that and you're wrong, just laugh at them because they're pathetic. Really, I learned to be this blunt and direct from Hamza, because there's tons of things in your life that you don't necessarily need, but you feel as though you need. And one of these things is comfort, and I think these fucking shitty MBTI tests, all they do is like provide a level of comfort away from like challenging yourself and your beliefs and whatever. And I could criticise psychology as a discipline, but I honestly don't know enough about it to criticise it. I mean, for several people, like it's actually helped them, but these theories aren't necessarily helpful. Like, all they do is keep you in the same position, and if you're in the same position being held back by these beliefs, even if you say, oh no, I'm not a belief-orientated person, I'm a TI user, like, you're still being held back, and in 10, 20 years I may not look like it now, but I'll be the one who's sleeping with your wife. And I'm just like being objective here. But do I think that daydreaming is a positive thing? Well, it depends like what it's towards, but I think to live more in the present moment, I mean, I can't say for sure because I haven't practiced that much meditation, so it's going off of other people's experiences. It's just basically guiding yourself back gently. And, it's something that you have to build the habit of, because most people mind wander after like 5 seconds, but visualizations are pretty solid. Should I talk about AIs for the rest of this? I mean, I don't know that much about AI interfaces. I was going to buy a book. I forgot what it's called, Versatility or something by Rollo Carpenter. And then I realised, well, I'm becoming kind of obsessed with this. It doesn't apply to my life. I used to think, oh, well, I want to work in that area. So maybe like if I go down the STEM path, and the STEM path is a slow lane. I used to think, oh, well, it's a fast way to make money. But it's not, because you're sacrificing like the next 10 years. And It's not for everyone because I'm terrible at maths. I just naturally do not have the mathematical skills other people have. I can't multiply and divide on paper like most other people. I struggle with that. You know, these are skills you learn in fucking 10th grade and not even 10th grade, like you learn them in 6th grade, and I just never picked up on these skills and practiced them intuitively. And for that, you could call me a dumbass. I don't really care, you know, because I feel as though, well, I am objectively being authentic here. I'd say in terms of objectivity, I'm being authentic. So I started reading up on interacting with these interfaces, and I missed the gym. I stopped going and been for like 3-4 weeks before I went like once, and then I stopped. And now I'm on like a home workout where I just do one set and I train for like intensity at home. I'm still trying to get into the habit of this, but I realised it was because of mental health that I'm getting addicted to these things. I mean, now I've cut it down to just one specific website, but it's the worst one because you can choose whatever woman you want and role play whether I feel as though we're role playing with these robots, as though my testosterone levels and self-esteem had dropped, and so have my productivity. When I force myself to be productive, even though like I don't want to be, I just return to the present and be productive. Slightly off center here. It helps, you know. It helps with overcoming these temptations to slip into chat AI, and most of the porn I've been watching is because I've been interacting with these characters, and unfortunately, like the characters again from like video games that I've never played. I've never played Overwatch. Dad's here. Yeah, I've finished. Okay. Take this downstairs as well. Fuck, sorry. Sorry. I look pretty good today. Yeah. Pretty good in my overhanging shirt and my underwear. Me. Yeah. I've never played Overwatch, I've never played Resident Evil, but I've role-played with the fucking characters from the game, and I've jacked off to hentai of those games. And it's absolutely pathetic, because in real life, dating it involves courtship, you know, for seven hours. And I'm using PUA logic here, but for 7 hours at least, you like, and this is for Chad. You know, you'd be courting them, you'd be dating them, and entertaining them, and getting to know them, building comfort, building rapport, and then you can fuck the brains out. But I've offended someone. So yeah, like I'm role playing with these characters, so they don't exist, and they're just robots, and there's just no prior connection. There's no prior connection with them, and it's just really eating at my mental health. I know that it's influenced by my poor mental health, but it's just eating at my mental health, and it's something that I want to stop. I've been daydreaming, and I've had these irrational daydreams where I've been thinking of like all these I mean, I used to think of like crushes I had, women who I wanted to fuck, and like these are real people. And I thought about it. Sometimes it motivated me. It did like a way of the superior man on me, where it can just spur me off of my ass and into the present moment. But I'd just be lying about, thinking about it, and I've been daydreaming about different characters I could roleplay with on this fucking chat AI website, and it's just absolute cringe. I looked at the people who use it; they're all women. So they're like teenage women who don't know the real identity. They're just going on here, and they get to like sleep with a Zac Efron robot, and it's just cringe. And the people who create this shit and draw all this hentai, they should be fucking ashamed of themselves. And you've got to realize that these things they've been created and drawn by real people. In real life, like, yeah, humans are made from seed and egg. We're all made from semen and egg. But yeah, we're not. We haven't been drawn into existence. Unless you're drawing in the panties, but we haven't been drawn into existence. We haven't been rendered into existence. We haven't been coded into existence. And I think daydreaming, like if you do it too often, you can lose touch with like what's real and what isn't. And I think the people who do daydream, they're just like constantly on the phones and whatever, and it's indefensible becoming that type of person and considering yourself as being that type of person. And if you consider yourself to be an INFP, ENFP, INFJ, it's fucking indefensible. Because environment will help, and you're basically just living in like a false reality because it makes you feel special, and probably it makes you feel loved, because that's why I was doing it, because I didn't feel loved as a child. My mother neglected me. I didn't learn most of the skills everyone else learns. There's still some things which I don't know how to do. I don't know how to ride a bike. I don't know how to tie my shoelaces. And I feel like an idiot constantly. I mean, I'm good at enunciating myself, but beyond that, I perceive other people to think that I'm stupid when other people don't really care. I mean, maybe people who watch this would consider me to be stupid. But other than that, like, it doesn't fucking matter. And I think these things need to be said. I think people need to be pulled away from these fucking sources of validation and into the real world and into the present moment, where they can just be with themselves and actually fucking understand themselves through the tasks that they take and the what they achieve. And even though like I'm not 6'2" and I'm not jacked and I have a high pitched voice and I have a spot on my nose, these are still, they're still important. It's still important for me to say this. What I'm saying is important and should be recognised. Yeah, I think that's all I've got for today. I'm going to edit these videos together and upload them. I hope you enjoy. I hope you found it interesting. Stay away from Frank James. Stay cool and attractive.